So hello everyone, very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you people are tuning in from. So today's training is going to be about invitation. So let me first talk a bit about this aspect or the importance of this aspect in my personal career. So in network marketing, when I started as an entrepreneur, maybe 6 years back, the success I'm able to have or the majority of the credit of the success that I have, I would like to give to this basic of network marketing, which is called as inviting. So when I say that, what I mean is it is very important. As we all know, to build a strong foundation, it takes time. But once the foundation is built, it is relatively easier to have the tall structure standing or to erect the tall structure. So does that guarantee that if you have the foundation, the building will be erected? Answer is no. But definitely it increases the probability, because without foundation there is zero assurity or there is zero probability that the building would stand or the structure would be the way we perceive or the way we envision. So again, moving on, invitation. So this is something which I had been thought upon in my first company wherein I was involved in FMCG sector. The way invitation was thought upon to me, I used to do invitation, I used to work out each and every fundamental or the basics that they thought, but things were not working out in my favor, or I was not getting that kind of results that I was expecting, or the kind of payouts or the outcome that I was expecting. So eventually I moved to service-based industry, which was into e-commerce. So e-commerce, I was again using the same fundamentals, because although the product sector is different, the industry being same, which is network marketing, and I thought the same basics would work. But the answer was wrong. Maybe I was taught upon some old school techniques which were obsolete, or maybe I had the wrong mentors, or I was looking at the wrong mentors. So I don't know what was going wrong. Point I'm trying to make is things were not working out for me. So again, when I talk about this, I want you all to relate this to your story. So if you think that you know invitation and you're not getting the kind of outcome that you desire, definitely this training is for you. Again, this won't be an interesting training because I'm not going to dance or do anything funny of that sort. But if you be tuned till the end, this boring training might be a turning point in your life. So I was talking about my story when I was involved in e-commerce sector. Eventually, when I switched to fintech, I first 4 days I invited more than 67 people. I repeat, I invited more than 67 people and only 5 people showed up. I was like frustrated. I mean, I am doing something wrong, or maybe my luck is bad. I started to blame the situation, but I had this one burning desire inside me that I wanted to succeed. I need this money by any means because nobody else was going to do it for me. So I called up my mentor and told him the entire conversation about how things were going through, what challenges I was facing, or the kind of fundamentals I was being using. Then he taught me certain set of things which again helped me to get into $2,000 per month in the next 12 days. Imagine, first 4 days I invited 68 people, getting 4 people on the 4 to 5 people on the call, and same Viraj, same with the same structure, with the same voice and different fundamentals which I'm going to talk upon in this training. Be tuned till the end. Had more than 120 people joining his team. So that are the basics that we are going to cover in this training. So again, now you must have realized the importance of this training. Of course, like when I started to duplicate this in my teams, my checks started going up and up and up, and now we are at maybe the top 0.001% quadrant of the network marketing industry, and also do have a lot of businesses into which also these fundamentals do work. So again, inviting. So before inviting, what is the fundamental that we need so that we can invite? Again, I ask you the question, I repeat the question. Before inviting, what raw material do you need so that you are able to invite? Of course, many of the people who are watching this video or this training may relate to this. We need a list of people to make those phone calls. So before inviting, I would just like to talk about list building. So list building, like there are different approaches people take through. Like there is this hot list, warm list, cold list. Hot being the people who you're close to, warm being people who you know but who you're not in quite often touch with. Cold is someone who is a complete stranger to you, maybe through social media or something like that. So again, there are three types of people in this entire network marketing industry. when I'm talking about list building or list expansion, before going to invitation again, because these two aspects or these fundamentals are interlinked, I want to talk about these three types of people who are in network marketing. Number one, posers. Posers are people who are just like, in a way, they would go next to the Audi, take a photo and show that, oh, they have joined some wonderful opportunity and they just fired their boss and they are going to be a millionaire. So these are the people who are very immature and who don't know anything about the industry. They don't spend quite bit of time learning the skill sets, and they actually hunt. These people, they actually hunt. Posers and amateurs. Amateurs are also someone who is a bit better than posers, who take certain set of time to learn the basics, but they are also not trying to do things in a professional way. They put in a lot of activity but without skill sets. Posers, they don't even put in an activity, they don't even take time to learn the skills, but they expect the results. Amateurs are someone who put in the time but don't take the time to learn the skill set. Now there are this third type of people who are professionals. So our goal is to be in this third type of people who are the professionals, so that you can have the results that you desire. So what do posers and amateurs do, and what do professionals do differently? Likewise. So these posers and amateurs, while building the list or while talking to their people, they start hunting. They directly approach that, oh, I have certain set of opportunity which might make you rich, your job is full of bad things and you're in the messiest situation of the world. So this is called as hunting, which is what a professional would never do. Professional would believe in something which is called as farming. Farming, of course, you know what is farming. You sow the seeds and you maybe nurture it, and then the plant flourishes and you get the end result, the crops they cultivate. So that is how the process of farming is. Farming, as in like you contact those people, then make a communication, maybe just like try to step into their shoes, understand what point they are in their own life, understand what is their problem, and then offer a solution. Directly, you are not hunting, you are farming. So for farming, for some people it might take maybe 1 to 2 minutes. For some people it might take like 1 to 2 hours. For some people it might take 1 to 2 days. For some people it might even take 1 to 2 years as well. It depends from person to person. This is a real business. This is not a magic pill that you just join and after listening to this training you will just be rich. But yes, if you understand these fundamentals, the probability or the odds of you getting rich or having a better financial situation is more. So again, coming back to the topic, farming. So we need to talk to the people in a generic way so that they feel comfortable. The rapport is established. Once they feel comfortable, you start sharing your problems or maybe some other person's problem, whoever is in the same profession of the person you're talking to, by the virtue of a third party story. Let's say, for an example, I'm talking to someone who is a software engineer. So I would just like normally initiate a communication. Let's assume he is my warm prospect, as in I know him, but I don't talk to him quite often. He's my warm prospect. I just talk to him like hi, hello, ask him about his life, maybe comment on his photo, do a like, or try getting some engagement with him by the virtue of social media, by the virtue of WhatsApp or whatever platforms you people might be using to engage with your audience. After that, like I take a third party approach. Take a third party approach is take the focus of myself, relate his profession to a third party story. I know a software engineer who in this pandemic maybe lost his job. He was really very much talented, but I mean, you are very lucky that you don't have that kind of things in your corporate, and the increment and all the standards are very good. I'm so very happy that I have an association of people like you. I mean, what you're doing here is like you just try to guess the problem, what he might be facing. This can just be an example. Don't go on the exact word. Try to understand the fundamentals. Fundamental is just assume or try to portray out the problem that his industry might be facing. Considering the market situation, you need to read certain set of things and then portray a third party story. So the probability is that he might say, oh yeah, I'm lucky, but things are not that good. Once he says that time your farming is over. If he doesn't, still you gotta keep farming, keep building the rapport, keep building the relationship. That's what professionals do. Again, it is not a magic pill. So once he says that, no, his life is not that great or his company is not that great, he's also having certain set of problems, then you just ask a question, which is, are you willing to fix this problem, or should you leave it to the God to get things in place? at their own time by their own virtue. What do you think that person might say? Most of the people who are action takers, they might say, I think if I get an opportunity, I should fix this problem. Now that is the right opportunity for you to move from list building to or maybe contacting to inviting. So first you had the list, you had the people jotted down, maybe written on the piece of paper. Then you contacted those people by the virtue of farming, by trying to be a professional, not being an amateur or poser. And now that you are inviting, now you have the right opportunity to invite them. So before we get on to inviting, I want you all to understand 4 to 5 fundamentals which are very essential in while you make an invitation. Point number 1, emotionally detach yourself. This is very crucial. We are network marketing professionals, or we ought to be network marketing professionals. So we need to emotionally detach ourselves. Our initial goal is education and understanding. If someone says anything bad to you, argues with you, you don't have to react to it. You have to emotionally detach and consider that his opinion is because he has certain set of information which might have his paradigm defined in that way. So now your goal should be educating him in that aspect. So number 1, emotionally detach yourself because you're a professional or you ought to be a professional. Number 2, be yourself. Whenever you are making an invitation, I mean, this is the kind of mistakes which I made in my previous companies. They used to give me ready-made scripts and I used to speak like a robot. I mean, that doesn't work that way. Just imagine you're calling one of your friend who you meet out daily, hang out with daily, and he loves you for the person you are, and suddenly you make a phone call reading the scripts like a robot. Would he love that? Does he like that person? Or I mean, he likes the person who you are. Of course, he likes the person who you are. So you have to be your own self. I am talking about fundamentals. I, of course, would give you some scripts in this training. We would be talking about that. But our goal is to, number 1, emotionally detach ourselves. Number 2, be our own self. Point number 3, bring some passion. When you are making an invitation, you should have some passion because you are offering an opportunity. And if you believe in the opportunity, you should have the passion. So that is point number 3, because some people, when they make an invitation, they are so low on energy, they are so less confident, their self-image is so low that, I mean, oh, I have an opportunity which might fix your problem. That is not the way, I mean, someone would want to hear you. I mean, if you have some passion, compassion, some excitement, I'm not talking about over excitement, being loud that his earbuds are maybe blasting out. I'm not talking about that sort of energy, but at least have some passion. That is point number 3. Point number 4, have a strong posture. It is very, very, very important. I mean, some people don't understand that they are giving an opportunity. There is a thin line gap between aspiration and desperation. When you have a strong posture, you should always remember that you are the giver. You have the gift. So your posture should be strong. I'm not trying to maybe encourage you to be arrogant, but yes, you believe that you have an opportunity, you should be having a strong posture, because when an HR gives you a job, he doesn't request you to join. He doesn't plead you to come for the interview. Now we are not an HR, we are not giving him a job. But again, I hope we are getting my message, what point I'm... Now that we spoke about these fundamentals that we have to consider for invitation, now let us see what an invitation would look like. So again, I would like to repeat the process, a quick recap. First, we talked about having a list, because if you don't have a list, you won't know whom to call to. Number 2, we spoke about farming, how you are first talking to the people, contacting those people, not hunting those people like an amateur or a poser. And then we talked about invitation, or now we are going to look how an invitation would look like. But first we spoke about 4 fundamentals, which is number 1, emotionally detach yourself. Number 2, be yourself. Number 3 is bring some passion. Number 4 was having a strong posture. Now let us see what are certain set of steps which we need to consider to have the invitation in a professional manner. Number 1, you should always be in hurry. Because when you're doing network marketing, 90% of the people, or rather 95% of the people, do it part-time. So you're already having a job, or you're already having very less time. When you're having less time and you have big goals, you got to talk to a lot of people. So what I mean by that is, in a reverse way, you need to reduce the time of your invitation. No invitation should be more than 2 minutes. 2 minutes is also the max. So point number 1 is be in hurry, because people tend to respond or respect anybody who respects their own time. So that is the psychology of normal people. So always like start your invitation is, hey, I'm running out of door, I just got 1 minute to talk. Real quick, can we talk? Is it the right time? This is just an example. Again, your words might be different, your language might be different, your accent might be different, but this is the fundamental which will always be same irrespective of the geography. Number 2, after you start your invitation with hurry, you will compliment him. So again, like this is a psychological trance which works out, and it is proven over a period of 30 years or more. When you start with a hurry and you compliment the person, you tend to have an open mindset of that person whom you're talking to. So you would compliment, and the compliment should be genuine. I mean, you can't give fake compliment, and if you're not able to find anything good in someone, I think you need to check with yourself. There is always positive in all the people that you're talking to. So when you start with hurry, make sure that you compliment and you find something positive in that person that you share with him, which would put him in an open frame of mind. Number 3, make the invitation, which is position the icebreaker. What is an icebreaker? Icebreaker is something which we would definitely talk in length about, but something which I was talking about with the reference to the story of that software engineer. Let's say he's having that sort of problem, you just offer the solution to that problem. Again, I would take different examples on this specific topic, icebreaker, but again, icebreaker is something which is a problem in his own life and you are just giving the solution, a sentence. So when you are making an invitation, when you're positioning an icebreaker, the invitation can be of 3 types. Number 1 would be the direct approach. Direct approach is something wherein like you apply this approach on people who are of same cadre or same maybe let's say corporate success or same level of success of you or lower level of success of you, that what you have. That means like you have credibility over them. If you say that I am doing this, you also have to do this, those people would agree. I mean, you're not going to say that like an amateur or a poser, but direct approach is to be applied to people whom you have credibility over. Number 2, indirect approach. So indirect approach, you are supposed to apply on people who are at a higher position than you. Let's say, for example, if you are a manager, if you're talking to someone who's senior manager or who has more experience than you, age-wise, salary-wise, maybe tenure-wise, whatsoever. So in that case, you would apply an indirect approach. Indirect approach is something wherein you ask the prospect for help or for recommendation or for suggestion, wherein like you feel that he's important, and that's how you make the invitation. That's how you maybe get him on the call to see the opportunity, to see the visual. Number 3 is super indirect. Super indirect is very powerful, wherein like you are approaching someone who's really big, who's a multi-billionaire, millionaire, whatsoever, maybe a corporator, maybe a diplomat, or maybe a big entrepreneur. So in this approach, you say this opportunity is clearly not for you, but who do you know wants to make this, that, whatever. That could be whatsoever icebreaker, whatsoever sentence. Again, in all direct, indirect, and super indirect. So just the approach is different. Icebreaker would be there in all the approaches. So point number 1 was you started an invitation with hurry. Point number 2 was you complimented. Point number 3 is you put an icebreaker in whatsoever approach depending on the kind of prospect you are having. Number 4, if I would you. Once you position the icebreaker, you said if I give you a video link, would you be watching it? So it is like again a psychological trance playing a combination of good set of words which again helps you to normally get yes. Would you be watching it? If I give you a video link, would you be watching it? The answer would normally be yes in most of the cases, not all. After that, point number 5 is taking a time commitment. Like when would you be watching it? Time commitment. Okay, I would be watching it on maybe 9 o'clock. Then confirm the time commitment. Once you get the time commitment, you confirm the time. Okay, so by 9:10 you will be watching it. All right. So once you confirm that, 2 times you repeat the same thing, you got the commitment, now you act as a professional, and last step would be get off the phone, because you yourself said that you have less time, you are in hurry. So this is how an invitation would look like. Again, before talking about all of the 7 to 8 basics which we spoke about, being in hurry, complimenting, if I making the invitation icebreaker with whatsoever approach, if I would you, taking the time commitment, confirming time commitment, getting off the phone. Now let me talk a bit about icebreakers. What is an icebreaker? So icebreaker is, as I mentioned, I'm just going through my notes, train words for invitation. So there are certain words or combination of words which might again help you have your prospects begging you for the opportunity. So how I start, or how I learned from this from my mentor, he used to position certain set of words. It's like, I just found out. He used to start the sentence with this word, I just found out. When this word comes out, our mind gets into a hurry or maybe a desperation that what you just found out. Just tell me. This is how we are, humans are psychologically wired. So I just found out, and maybe whatever the problem is. So if you would like to know how, I would like to tell you. Meanwhile, let's carry on. So that's just an icebreaker, how it is. Now, as I mentioned, the icebreaker would depend on the kind of problem the person would have. So I'll give you certain set of examples of icebreakers, what we are going to do. So give me a moment. I have it jotted down. So yeah. So icebreakers would be like, I just found out a way where we can work on a plan B without disturbing your plan A, so that our work-life pressure is gone forever. So again, these words don't matter. What I'm trying to say is, if the problem is work-life pressure, so then you would start with, I just found out a way wherein you can start working on a plan B without disturbing your plan A, wherein your work-life pressure would be gone. I just found out a way wherein you can give a live link and get paid over and over again and again. I mean, this is also like very simple. I just found out a way wherein you can get to know a lot of new people and make significant amount of income. For someone who wants to socialize, doesn't have a lot of friends, that might be his problem. Again, this is something which we connect and get to know about the person by the virtue of farming, which is the process before we actually make the invite. So there are different examples. Of course, I would share this all scripts with you. Depending on your prospect, you can definitely throw upon the icebreaker. I just found out a way wherein you can take 5 coffee breaks like this and get 5 times the payout, whatever you are making from your job. For someone who likes coffee break, who's your colleague in your office, again, that depends on the problem and that depends on the kind of interest that the other person have. Also, like there is another way which also I would like to recommend. It's like, do you mind? Starting the sentence with, do you mind? Or if I would like to. So it's like, do you mind, or would it be okay, whatever like goes well with you? Like, would it be okay for you to have 2 paychecks instead of 1? For someone who's struggling to maybe quench out his expenses by the virtue of 1 paycheck, again, don't go on the script, go on the concept, what I'm trying to say. Or would you mind, wherein this is a funny one, wherein you would want to sell your alarm clock and wake up at your own time. So, funny examples, but again, try to understand the fundamentals of the icebreakers that I'm trying to put upon. Also, like, if you know some people who have certain set of problems, who are always negative people, some people just stay away from what we have thought, stay away from negative people. I think negative people can make good prospects because they are someone who are telling you their problem. Oh, my life is this, my life is that. In such situation, you just have to ask one question. What do you think you should be doing? You should be keeping this problem for their entire life, or if there is a solution, you should be changing the situation. If he says no, everything is up to God and all is written by him, nothing would change, he would change everything, then nobody can help him. But if he says yes, if there is a solution, I would like to have a look, then you pitch in the opportunity. So now I would just give you a sample of invitation, how your invitation would look like. Let's say I'm using all the fundamentals and I am doing the direct approach. Let's say, hi A, let's say the name of my friend is, let's say, Savio. Hi Savio, I'm running out of tour, but it was very important for me to reach out to you. Is it the right time to talk to you? You would say yes. So I know that you are very sharp with your IT skills and your managerial skills. I gave a compliment. Now I know that he has a work-life pressure. I just found out a way wherein without disturbing your job, you can work out on plan B, so that after a certain period of time, your work-life pressure is gone forever. So you would ask me, what is it all about, or something like that. So here, you need to drive the communication in your own manner. You don't need to give answer to his questions. I would say, Savio, it is 90% visual, 10% audible. since it is visual, I won't be able to tell you on the phone, and as I already mentioned that I only have 1.5 to 2 minutes to talk on the phone, it won't be possible for me. So okay, so just tell me what it is all about. So you can give a 1 minute presentation. Again, that script I can give you. You can give that script or recite that script in your own version, or else you can say, then you would like, I didn't understand anything. That's what I'm saying. It is 90% visual and 10% audible. If I give you a video link, would you be watching it? Or if I give you a video link, when would you be watching it? If I give you a video link at 9:10, would you be jumping on to watch it? Oh yes, I think I can. So okay, so then at 9:10 I will be sharing you the link maybe 10 minutes before. So I confirmed the time commitment and I got off the phone. So that is how an ideal invitation would look like. Again, don't go on the script, but go on the fundamentals. So a quick recap. First we talked about list. Then we talked about being a professional by not hunting but farming. Then we talked about getting to a certain point wherein the prospect agrees to the problem that he has in his life. Then you offer a solution by making an invitation. So invitation, we talked about like 4 things wherein like you need to emotionally detach yourself, you need to be yourself, you need to have a strong posture, as well as you need to have some passion. Also, then we did an invitation which had certain set of steps which said that you are in hurry, which then complemented. Then you gave an icebreaker irrespective of the direct, indirect or super indirect approach. Then you said the if I would you approach. Then you took the time commitment, you confirmed the time commitment, and then you got off your phone. That is how a professional would invite. That is how I started inviting, and my career started to take a shift and I started to get the results which I desired. Again, you won't be able to perfect this just by listening to this training or reading the scripts. But the more you practice, the more better you get every single day. So again, like practicing it over and over. Practicing farming, which is list building, as well as practicing invitation, would help you always have a strong foundation in this second biggest industry, which is the network marketing industry. I wish you all the very best and massive invitations for you all to generate continuous inflow of prospects.